What's going on? VitalSyntax here, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive came out yesterday, the 21st, on a bunch of different platforms. Obviously the PC, also on the Mac and the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So essentially, if you have one of the current generation consoles, or if you have at least a somewhat decent computer, you should have no problems running this game. I mean, it's not the most graphically demanding game. And Valve does an amazing job with optimization, so you should have no issue running this game even on a lower end computer. And it's only $15, which I think is the perfect asking price for this game. So definitely go pick it up if you haven't already. If you have one of those systems or consoles that you can play the game on, at least if you're a first-person shooter fan. And I'm kind of curious to see how the console side of things if they're going to pick this game up, if it's going to latch on at all, because typically when I think of consoles, mostly I think the Xbox 360, and I think of first-person shooters. The first game that always comes to mind is Call of Duty. You know, right now it's Modern Warfare 3, but just in general, Call of Duty as kind of the go-to game. That's kind of been that way ever since Call of Duty 4 came out. And so I'm just kind of curious if there's going to be a lot of people playing this on consoles, and if it kind of picks up or if it latches on at all. Because obviously it's going to latch on with the PC side of things. And I was actually kind of surprised back on the PC side of things, because if you go to Steam, you can actually view the usage stats and see how many people are playing what game. And typically when a new game comes out on Steam, it's the #1 played game for those first couple days after it comes out. Even if it's not, you know, the biggest game or the best game, most people are playing that game because it's brand new, and a lot of people have purchased it. And I was expecting CSGO to be up there, but it actually wasn't. I mean, it's at the top, obviously, but it's not the very top. I think Team Fortress 2 is still the #1 played game, that at least it was today and yesterday. And I think the original Counter-Strike actually had more players on it yesterday too than Go, but I think Go did have more than CS Source. But anyway, I'm just kind of surprised that this game wasn't at the very tip top of their player count. I'm not sure if that's because a lot of veteran players are still enjoying the original Counter-Strike game. Keep in mind that I'm not by any means a seasoned veteran of Counter-Strike, so kind of take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm sure there's lots of things I don't know about the game, or I don't know about the community, because I am somewhat of a new player to the game in general. I actually originally played Counter-Strike at a friend's house on the original Xbox, and I had a blast with it, and then I ended up playing it a little bit on the PC for Counter-Strike Source, but not really a whole lot. I didn't really enjoy it too much, but I've had a lot of fun with CSGO personally. I've been playing the beta for a couple weeks now, and I obviously picked the game up when it came out full yesterday, and I've been playing it a little bit since then. So I really enjoy the game. But anyway, if you're a new player and you haven't really played a Counter-Strike game before, let me kind of go over what you're going to get, because once again, if you haven't purchased this game, you guys should definitely go check it out and buy it, because it's only $15 and it's basically on every platform. So let me go over kind of the basics of what you can expect to get on if you purchase the game. And I'm not sure exactly if all the content's the same across all the platforms. I would guess it is, but this is speaking from the PC side of things. You're getting a couple different game modes. So the first one is kind of your classic game mode. And there's classic casual and classic competitive, and the difference is essentially the competitive one, you have, you know, team damage and a couple other things changed off that make it a little more competitive and a little bit more fair, I guess, for, you know, playing a competitive match. And I typically play the casual one, because you have team damage turned off. And I believe you also get the armor by default. You don't have to purchase it, but I'm not sure on that. Once again, take everything I say with a grain of salt in regards to this series, because I'm somewhat of a newer player. But anyway, essentially what it is, you have two different game modes within the classic game mode, which is you have the bomb type match, where if you're a terrorist, you're trying to plant the bomb and defend it until it blows up, and if you're counter-terrorist, then you're trying to defuse the bomb or not have it be planted in the first place. And then there's also the hostage type game mode, where the terrorists are trying to hold on to hostages, and the counter-terrorists are trying to rescue them and take them to safety. And I think both of those game modes are really fun. It's only one life. If you die, you have to wait to the next round. There's a couple different rounds. It kind of depends on what the server settings are for number of players and for number of rounds and things like that. But I really enjoy those. Both those game modes are really intense, especially since you only have that one life. You have to make it count. So both of those game modes are awesome. Those are obviously returning from previous Counter-Strike games. And there's a couple other game modes you've also got. You've got the gun race game mode, which is essentially gun games. So you start out with a submachine gun, and then you have to work through, and every time you get a kill, you get a new weapon. So then you work through assault rifles and submachine guns and light machine guns and sniper rifles, and essentially at the very end, that's actually the game mode I'm playing here, by the way. And at the very end, you have a knife, and you have to get a knife kill, which is actually pretty hard. The knife is definitely not a powerful weapon up against assault rifles and other types of guns. Obviously, it shouldn't be in real life. You're not going to go to a gunfight with a gold knife. And then you've also got another game mode. I think it's called Demolition, or to be honest, I don't know. I think it started with a D. And essentially what that game mode is there's you start out with really good weapons, with like something like an AK or the M4, which are both really good weapons. And then every time you get a kill, at the beginning of the next round, you start out with a worse weapon. So you might start with a submachine gun one round, and then after that, if you get another kill, you might start with a shotgun, and then you're gonna start with pistols. So essentially what that does is, and this is also a one life game mode, essentially what that does is the really good players that are getting lots of kills have to use harder and harder weapons to get kills with. So a lot of the newer players get to use the good guns, and because they're not getting kills, they're not progressing through the gun sequence. So I think that's actually a really, really cool gameplay mechanic that kind of gives the newer, worse players a kind of chance to get kills and stuff, because they're going up against guys that have, you know, pistols and stuff like that. But anyway, those are kind of the game modes and content you're going to get. There's a bunch of different maps. You've got some returning from Counter-Strike, like the Dust maps, and a couple other ones. There's also some new maps. You've got a bunch of new weapons, some returning weapons, and I think overall it's definitely 100% worth it, $15. So once again, go pick it up if you guys haven't already. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give me a like or add it to your favorites. Remember to subscribe to be auto-notified when I upload the next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.